Hey guys, I wanted to share a story with you before tomorrow night, Thursday night at 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Kirk and I is going to be going a little further into the witch subject that we've been studying. Now, I found a story today that I want to share with you all, and I think that you're really going to enjoy this story. Back around 1692, they were having the Salem witch trials. The reason that they had started doing this, the witches had got so bad that they were eating children, they were casting spells on people, and they were decorating cedar trees with male organs. They decided then to make a law to practice witchcraft would be illegal, and they started rounding up the witches, and I'm sure there was innocent people also, but you had this covenant of witches that were called the White Witches, and they said that they were the good ones, that they stayed in the light. We'd find out later that they weren't, and they were no better than the black ones or any of the others. But anyways, as you go on, I want to share the story of what had happened. A man that had helped catch these witches during the trials, that had worked for the posses and the parties that would go out and catch them, they started hearing wood knocks at night around their house, and probably speculated that it was Bigfoot. As this had went on, him and his family was out on a normal day. He had been out fishing. He had caught fish. He had the fish laying there ready to be cleaned. The kids were playing in the yard. They had two kids. And the wife was attending to her chores, probably doing, laundry or whatever she'd be doing on a normal day, hanging laundry, washing. At that time, they were overtook by a pack of by a pack of witches that came out of the woods, and they attacked. The father was trying to fight these witches off, and the mother, was trying to help. The kids are watching all this. These witches just came in, just attacked. Well, the father of the children and the mom, they lost the battle. They ended up getting tied up. The children were hogtied. The knocking that they had been heard, and I wanted to explain a little bit to you. The witches believed that knocking on wood would summon spirits. It was part of their spells that they would do. They would knock on wood. How many times have you heard the old phrase, knock on wood? That was the knocking they was hearing. They'd been in the woods watching them for a while, planning on getting them. They took the father over to a pole where he would hang the fish and skin them. And they tied him to it. They took the mother over to the other pole where he would tan the hides and clean the animals, and tied her to it. The children are hog-tied laying in the yard, so they're probably watching everything that's going on. The dad is sitting there, and one of the witches walks over. They raise rabbits, meat rabbits for food, and she pulls this rabbit out of this rabbit hutch, not knowing why. The family dog's up there. The witches are playing with the dog and petting the dog. Everything's relatively calm at this time. That would soon end. One of the witches goes over and she grabs one of the skinny blades that he used to skin his animals to save the pelts. She puts it into the fire that they had cooking already, or burning. And she walks over to where he's tied against this pole, takes this hot red knife. She cuts the center of his belly button out. She then goes over to where the rabbits were at and grabs a piece of wire that was on the cage, bends it, makes a hook out of it, walks over, sticks it into the hole that she had just made, and starts fishing it around. Finally, after fishing it around and pulling and tugging inside of his stomach, she pulls an intestine through his stomach. Now they take the intestine, takes the intestine and ties it around the dog's collar. The other witch sets the rabbit down and lets the rabbit run. Well, what's the dog do? Chases the rabbit. So y'all probably understand what's happened at that point. They then go over to the mom. She's tied up. And they're looking at her. And they're scratching at her with their fingernails, it said. And they're laughing at her and dancing. They seem to be in this great mood, you know, this happy mood, because they are the white witches that stay in the light. And they're dancing around her and everything. They find the fish that the dad had caught for the day that they were going to eat. So they take the fish and they beat the mom to death with it. They beat her over and over with these fish until she dies. Beating her. The scales on these fish were cutting her as they beat her with them, and they just beat her to a bloody pulp with these fish. So then, after they're done with that, the kids are hogtied. They take the kids to their house that they had in the woods not far from where they was at. They were angry because the father was part of that party that caught one of their friends, so this was their payback. What a lot of people didn't know is witches, and even to this day, and we're going to talk about it Thursday night, they like to eat little kids. So they took these kids and they put them in their big cauldron. They go down to the cold creek and they dip buckets and buckets of cold water out and pour on the children. Then they light a fire under them. You go from cold to boiling. They feasted on it. The sheriff at the time had found out what they had done, and the witches were rounded up, and they were taken into town. And they were going to hang them, but the hanging judge said that would be too easy. It would be not enough punishment for what they had done. So the children that had been killed really bothered the people. So they decided these witches really had to pay. So they took the witches, they tied them up in the center of town, they stripped them of all their clothes, they poured honey on them in the summer. The men had left and they came back to town, and they had brought ants. They put the ants at the feet of these women, as many as they could, these ant hills they had dug up. And it said the ants were biting all over them. And they had these whelps coming all up over them, and they were screaming in agony. The sun had sunburned them. They were thirsty. Their skin was cracking, blistering. They're getting ate alive by these little ants. Then they go out, they take knives, and they skin them alive. They're still alive though. They knew how to skin them without killing them. Then they took them to the bridge in town. They weren't completely skinned. It said that skin was removed from them. They were taken out of town. They were tied ropes around their ankles. And they were hung off of a bridge to the water, they said, was at their collarbones, upside down. They could raise up enough to keep their heads up out of the water. And they were tied and then left drowned whenever they could no longer hold themselves up. And after they died, they were pulled from the water. The priest prayed over them, and then they were burned. A lot of bad things happened in those days. And Thursday night, we're going to talk about some things that go even deeper than that, and kind of into the root to where a lot of this is happening. And it's going to go deep and dark, but it's going to be a good live. You're not going to want to miss it. We found a lot of information. I've been in touch with people that shared many things that were ex-witches that sent stuff in, and some of it I wasn't surprised, but some of it I was. And we have a secret place we found out we're going to talk about, and y'all ain't going to want to miss it. So I hope to see y'all this Thursday night, 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. and we're going to have an awesome live. I've already got the link out right now, guys. If you want to, you can click on that link, and you can even comment on the video for Thursday night. There's people in there talking already right now, and we'll go in early as always, and we may even drop in and comment on your alls. And you can also click notify. Just click on the link and it'll give you a notify option. You can click notify so you'll be notified. It's going to be a good live. We're going to go really deep. We got a lot of information. I hope y'all will join us Thursday night, and I look forward to seeing you. The Patreon, I had to drop some things in the Patreon that I cannot put on Facebook, and I will not be able to air because of the YouTube and Facebook policies. They will delete my account if I put some of this stuff on there. It is in the Patreon, and there's been a lot of people looking at it, and it's really dark. So if you do look at it, just a little bit of a warning, it's pretty dark. Thanks for watching, guys. Until Thursday night, keep your head on a swivel, don't be something's dinner, and get ready to spend a long night learning a lot of dark history. Thanks for watching, guys.